So I just stopped by Starbucks, got my drink, and today's video is going to be a girl chat Q&A video. I've seen Brooke and Danielle and Michelle read, or actually she just got married, so her last name is different. Actually, she's been married, but I've seen them do it, and I had a couple of you guys message me on Instagram asking for me to do one too. Actually, hold on, let me stir my coffee. If you're new here, I ordered an iced doppio espresso with extra ice, oat milk, 4 pumps of brown sugar, and cinnamon on top, and it's not filled up all the way. It never really is, except for sometimes, but yeah, you just have to like stir it, get it all. Well, anyway, I thought it would be fun because usually when I do Q&As, it's just like more about, I don't know, like me and stuff about, you know what I mean? It's never like a big sis chat, so I thought it would be fun, and I really enjoyed watching the other girls' videos. So I actually haven't even looked at the questions yet because I just thought it would be more fun that way. We're gonna go ahead and get going. So, have you tried waxing and what was your experience? So I've actually never done that. I don't know, I guess I just don't really feel the need to. Maybe like when we go on our honeymoon, but also I am like the type of person, I just like to shave all the time. Like every time I shower I shave, which is every day, so I shave every day. It's just become a part of the routine. I've gotten pretty fast about it, and I just like myself that way. Like I just can't really say because I've never had it done. Like I might actually like waxing a lot and like not want to shave anymore, but also I just don't think that shaving is that hard of a task, and I've been doing it for so long now, it doesn't really like bother me at all. So I have not shaved, and plus also if I'm gonna spend my money, I would rather spend it on like something else other than like waxing, because it's just not that important to me, you know? I just think shaving's fine. Okay, wow, a lot about shaving. Next question is shaving while living with significant other. Are you always shaved? So yes, but that's because I choose to be, but not my legs. Like, okay, I don't shave my legs every single day. I shave my legs maybe like every 3 days, but like my armpits and like everywhere else, yes. But that's just because I like choose to be shaved, and that's like what makes me feel comfortable, especially because I work out, and it's, in my opinion, very uncomfortable to not be shaved when you're working out, because I don't wear underwear in my leggings when I work out. Well, sometimes I do, but like it's more no than it is yes. So like yes, but also I know Colin like wouldn't even really care. I just am, and I don't really care about him either, you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't really bother me, but it's just a personal preference. But also Colin and I are like insanely comfortable with each other, like insanely. Like I feel like we have a comfort level that I never thought I would ever like reach with a boy before, and I actually really am thankful for it, and I really enjoy it. Like I never get embarrassed in front of Colin ever, and I like don't have a problem with any of that stuff or talking to Colin about any of that stuff. Like I tell him all the time when I'm pregnant and I can't see down there anymore, he's gonna have to do it for me, because I just like to be shaved, and he's totally okay with that, and he's just like a trooper. But he's also my best friend, so there's that. Anyway, living while shaved, I just prefer it, but honestly, like I don't think that you should have to do something because you're like afraid of what someone else is gonna think about you. Like if you truly want to be that way and they're like irritated with it, then I don't really think that they're the person for you. Like if I told Colin I was never gonna shave again, he'd be like, okay. Like he really would not care, you know what I mean? Because he loves me. But I would never say that though. But yeah, I just think that you should be able to do whatever you want to do. Like if you want to shave all the time, shave all the time. If you don't. If you want to shave every 3 days, shave every 3 days. If you want to shave once a week, shave once a week. Like just do whatever makes you happy. That's my motto. Moving in with your significant other, pros and cons. I think pro, especially if you are thinking about getting married, it's a very big learning lesson for the both of you, and you really absolutely get to know someone because you're with them through the good and the bad. You see them at all phases of like the day, every day of the week. Like at one point you're gonna see them and be with them because you realize, can you spend the rest of your life with this person, or no, not really. Con is, it's really annoying when you spend a lot of time cleaning and then the other person kind of comes in and messes it up and then doesn't clean up their mess, and then you're like irritated because you just cleaned that and then like somebody else ruined it and you didn't ruin it. That's a con. And also just like when you're in the mood to be clean and the other person's not, or like you're not in the mood to be clean and the other person is, you know what I mean? Like not clean, but like I guess be less messy. Like sometimes I'm in the mood to leave stuff out and Colin's not, and he'll pick up my stuff, and sometimes it's like vice versa. So I think it's always good to try and be on the same page and like equal out chores and who does what and who does when. You guys know we were like arguing about cleaning in the last vlog. I think it's really hard to have alone time, especially like during quarantine and stuff when you live with somebody else. So just making sure you like make it known, like, hey, I'm gonna like go hang out with myself for a little bit. Like me right now, I'm literally hanging out with myself. I was like, Colin, I'm gonna go do this and I'll be back in a little bit. But it's just like good me time. And I think it's important to give your significant other me time too. So like me leaving right now, Colin gets to have his alone time, I get to have my alone time. I think that that's really, really healthy than being with each other all the time. Another pro is that you just basically get to have a sleepover with your best friend all the time, and Colin like really truly is my best friend. Like I love him so much, and he is just like, I don't know, we've just gotten so much more close living together, and it's just so fun. It's the more days it's fun than days that it's not. But it's just like I physically can't even picture what my life was like without him anymore in it. And it's just like a huge pro that we decided to do this, in my opinion, before we got married. And I think that it's going to be even easier to adjust after marriage because it already kind of feels like we're married. I just think that there's a lot of pros to living with your significant other, and I 100% support that. And I know everyone has differing opinions, and you guys know me, like I respect everyone's opinion, and I actually like that people have different opinions than I do, because then you get to learn from other people. And I like having different opinions than other people because, I don't know, it makes for a good combo. But yeah, I guess you just like really learn to respect each other too, which is good. I guess con is like the messiness, and like sometimes someone could be irritated, and like Colin could wake up and have a bad day, but I could wake up and be having like a good day and be in a bad mood. But because you're around that person so much, then their energy kind of like wears onto you. So like his bad energy could come onto me, or my bad energy could come onto him, and that does happen sometimes too. So that's a con. I just like went on a rant with that, I'm sorry, but those are my pros and my cons. Okay, next question is views on premarital sex. Like I said, I really think that you should do whatever floats your boat. At the end of the day, it's not your parents' body, it's not your friend's body, it's not your boyfriend's body, it's your body, and so you get to decide whatever you do with it, and that's your decision and that's your business. So if you want to have sex before marriage, who cares? Like, do it. If that's what you want, then like just do it. You really shouldn't feel bad about living life the way you want to live your life. Like, you literally only get one life, so might as well do whatever you want to do with it. I understand that there's a lot of like religious reasons people don't, and I completely respect that. Like, all power to you. Obviously I didn't wait for marriage, but that was my decision, and I'm like happy with my decision. I wouldn't go back and change a thing. So at the end of the day, it's whatever you want to do with your body, and no one should ever be able to tell you what you should do with your body, ever. Tips on shaving down there. So I think honestly I don't get razor bumps, and I think it's because I'm so consistent with my shaving. So that's really helped. I think when I was younger and I first started shaving, I was like, oh, this is terrible. But I also don't use like shaving cream or anything. I'll mix conditioner with a bar of soap. This is like my greatest hack ever, actually. You guys will have to try it out and let me know if it works for you. Everyone's skin is different though, so like honestly what someone does like shaving might not even work for you. So what I do is we get these green bars of soap, and I wish I knew the brand. I'll put a picture of it on the screen right here. Hopefully I remember, because sometimes I say I'm gonna do things when I'm editing and I literally forget. But I mix that with a little bit of my Amica conditioner. It's literally just like a small amount too, and nothing's like going inside because that's very bad. You should never do that. But I also really believe in like your self-cleansing down there. I know Brooke mentioned that in her video when she said that. I was like, yes, absolutely. But if you just mix a little bit of that with a plain like all natural bar of soap, I find that that works really, really well. So maybe give that a try. And I think consistency is key, honestly, because when you wait a while to shave and then you shave again, your body's like, oh my god, why did you do that? You know what I mean? So next question is asking about my first time. So I was 17, I think, 16 or 17, I can't really remember. I was a junior in high school, and I had been dating my boyfriend for like a year or so. honestly, like, you know, when you block things out of your brain. My parents got divorced when I was in high school, so I physically have the hardest time remembering high school, which is so strange. Okay, love that for me. My battery just overheated, so I really needed a new camera. Like, body, my lens is good, but I need a new camera. Anyways, okay, junior year, I like don't have a problem with the way that it happened because it was with my boyfriend. I think I was obsessed with him. I probably was. I think I'm happy with the way that it happened because it was like someone who I was dating and I really liked him at the time. And I think that if you are like looking for tips and stuff on that, just to like make sure that the person is a good person, and the person who I was dating to this day I still think is a good person, and I don't regret dating him at all. And you know, like, it's a bunch of life lessons that lead up to who you are today. So does that ever like make you scared though, that like one day you're gonna have kids and you're gonna have to like talk about this with them? Because I like kind of don't ever want to have to do that. That's just, I don't know why I just thought of that, but yeah, anyways, I'm happy with how my first time happened. I was dating him for about a year. I think I was 17-ish, and that's all I really have to say about that. Like, one of those things where I'm like, well, that happened, you know? Okay, how to get over a problem in a relationship, specifically lying, jealousy, etc. Okay, all I have to say is, if you are in a relationship and there's a problem with lying or jealousy, they are not the person for you. You could be so attached to them, especially if you're younger. Like, your first couple boyfriends, I feel like girls have very strong attachments to sometimes, and you just have to realize that, like, if you are lying to them or they're lying to you, or you don't trust them at all, it's just like the universe saying like, hey, this guy's not for you, or hey, this, like, whoever you're with is not for you. And I don't know, I think fighting it makes it worse. So if you don't feel good about it in your heart, then I think it's time to leave. And also, if you have it in your heart to like forgive that person or them forgive you, you definitely cannot hold resentment over them. Like, if you're gonna forgive, you actually have to forgive, and then you just need to move on. The longer you hold on to resentment, the more you end up literally despising somebody. So yeah, that's definitely not healthy at all in a relationship. So I would either get out or get over it. This next question is how to not get nervous when you're doing the deed when you aren't on birth control. So you guys know I use a Daisy, it's from the brand Daisy. It's a fertility tracker, and so I have it like completely on my app. I know exactly what day I ovulate. I know exactly what days I'm fertile or infertile or like fluctuating, where it's like a little bit on the edge, so like maybe stay away. Typically on the days that I am fertile, we just don't do anything, and then on the days that I'm infertile, it's like green flag, good to go. And so I'm never nervous, and I have not had a single pregnancy scare because that app is so good and it has learned my cycle so much, and like to a T it has tracked me. And so if we just don't do anything on the days that I'm ovulating for sure or fertile, then I'm good. And so far I'm good. And getting off birth control and doing this fertility tracker thing has been the best decision I've ever made in my entire life, and I don't get nervous because I know exactly when I'm fertile. And so you can't have a baby when you're not fertile. Great plans. This next question is what to do when you're not really in the mood for a phase in your relationship, and I completely relate to this so much. And a lot of what I've like never talked about, actually I guess I have talked about it, the struggles and what I struggled with most when I was on birth control was just not like having a drive to be physically intimate at all, like zero. And Colin's a very attractive person, like you'd think that it would be there, but for me it just like it was an indescribable feeling. And now that I'm off birth control, it's a whole nother story. Like, I literally feel so much better in that area of my life. So honestly, first of all, what I want to ask you is, are you on birth control? Because birth control could be playing a huge part of that. But also what I want to add, and this is like some of the best advice I've ever heard, because honestly at 9 o'clock I am ready to go to bed, and Colin and I usually watch shows from like 7:30 to like 9:30ish, and after 9 I'm asleep. Like I'm ready to hit the hay. So the best advice I've ever been given, and I wasn't specifically given this, like this was given to a broad range of people, and it was by Kelsey DePrima, and I follow her on Instagram. I followed her for like probably 3 years now. It's been a minute. She's one of my favorite people to follow, and she's very open about stuff like this, which is something that I really, really like about her. Also, we are getting married the same weekend, which is pretty cool. But she's like, you should, I'm just gonna start saying do the deed, because I don't really want to get caught, like I don't want to get demonetized or anything for saying like a bunch of stuff like this, but you should really do the deed before you eat dinner. Because after I eat dinner, and I don't know about you guys, but seriously, after I eat dinner, I am full and I'm ready to just like relax and be a potato and just lay on the couch. And that, like, to do a whole nother task, I'm like, it's like an extra effort. And I really hope my dad's not watching this video, but I'm just gonna have to text him and say don't watch this one. But she was like, just do it before you guys eat dinner. And I was like, oh wow, that's actually amazing. So that's another tip I have, because maybe like at a certain point of the day you are in the mood, or maybe you're like an earlier person, you know, like kind of just analyze yourself and figure out when you are in the mood to do things like that. That's one thing. And then another thing, okay, honestly, those are my 2 tips. If you're on birth control quite literally like takes away your sex drive for some people. Your deed drive. It takes away your deed drive. And it's just really messed up. There's actually a ton of messed up things that birth control does to you, and that's just my opinion. But yeah, I would look into that and look into maybe like switching it up or something like that, because I don't know, that I just feel like that was really good advice that she gave. If you put value on how often you and your partner do the deed, do you feel guilty if you don't want to? Like I said, again, no, never. Every couple is different. Some people are great with just doing it once a week. Some people are great doing it once a month. Some people do it, I don't know who does this, but some people probably do it every single day. Some people probably do it like 3 to 4 times a week, but that's their relationship, and their relationship is not your relationship. And you should never question your relationship in comparison to somebody else's. And comparison is the thief of joy. Don't think that you should ever have to compare your relationship and how often you and your partner are intimate versus somebody else, because they're incomparable. You're not the same person. So no, I never do that. Do I feel guilty if I don't want to? No. I just tell Colin like, hey, can we just go to bed tonight? Like tomorrow would be better because I'm exhausted, or I have a headache, or I'm tired. And if the other person gets mad at you, that is like bizarre. They should never get mad at you for not wanting to do that. And instead of getting mad, and also if they get mad, they're probably just feeling insecure. So at that point, that's when you need to probably have a conversation with them saying, hey, it's not you, it's like, this is how I feel, and like, I don't want you to think it's you, and I don't want you to get upset, because actually this is what I'm dealing with internally. And if you're with the right person, they will 100% be there for you. And also, you should never feel bad for not wanting to do something. And if your partner is making you feel guilty, it's most likely, like I said, because they're insecure about something. So you guys just really need to have a vulnerable and open conversation and work on that together, because it is a together thing. It's not just a you thing and a him thing, or vice versa. It's, or whoever you're dating. I'm just saying him because I date Colin, or I'm getting married to Colin, and he's a boy, so that's why I keep saying that, just because that's what I'm personally used to. I just think that it's really important to grow your communication on a topic of like intimacy with your partner, because if you're planning on being with them for a very long time, or you're planning on getting married, like that's a very important thing in a relationship. And I think that full and open communication on that topic is very important. Next question is, how long is your period? Like, how long does it last for? Mine usually lasts for 4 days. Next one is, my fiance and I are happily engaged and we have a great relationship. However, do you ever find yourself flattered when other guys hit on you? Like, of course you're not interested, but I don't know, I feel flattered. Like, I still got it. Anyone else? So I completely understand what you're saying, because like any form of attention is like a form of, it's flattering. I don't know. I don't really think I get hit on very often in public. There was one time when we were moving this past time when I was in Home Depot, and someone who worked there, who looked very young by the way, asked me to dinner, and I had to politely tell them that I was taken. But I guess I was flattered. But also, Colin and I kind of joke around, because then he got hit on at a gas station. And so when I got hit on at the Home Depot and he got hit on at the gas station, I was like, I got hit on at the Home Depot. And he's like, oh yeah, well I got hit on at a gas station. Like, we more so just joke around about it. But like, yeah, I guess it's flattering. Like, any form of attention is flattering, and it makes you feel really good. I don't think you should feel bad about it, especially if you're not interested. If you were like going out and your objective was to like get someone to hit on you, I think that that would be kind of messed up. But like, obviously you can't control what other people do. So naturally, if you're out and about and someone like compliments you or, I don't know, like tries to advance and ask you out or something, like, it's obviously flattering, but I don't think you should feel bad about it, and you could just turn it into a joke with your significant other like me and Colin do. Next question is, do I work out every single day, and if so, is it just for the wedding or do I enjoy it? So I work out every single day but once. So I work out 6 days a week, and it is because of the wedding, but it also is because I enjoy it. Like, if I wasn't getting married, I would still be working out the exact same amount throughout the week. But yeah, always have an off day though, because it's really good for your like body to be able to rest and recover, because if you go too hard, you can risk injury, and that would be very bad. Next question is, how did you gain so much confidence? I think the 3 years where I was single, because I had a boyfriend my freshman year of college, and then we broke up, and I didn't start dating Colin officially until my senior year of college. So those 3 years, like end of freshman year, sophomore, junior year. Battery overheated again. Sorry, again, she needs a new camera. Okay, so by the way, the camera is a Sony a5100, and it's been really, really good, but I shattered the screen and it overheats quite often. I gained so much confidence when I really, truly just started working on myself. Like, I started working on my mental health. I started eating really well. I started going to the gym. I started caring less what others thought about me. I stopped judging people so much. I stopped judging myself so much. You kind of just have to get to a point where you realize literally you are not going to please everyone in life. The only person that it is like crucial to please is yourself, and so whatever you're doing that you don't like, you can change it, and the only person who can change it is yourself. And it took me a long time to realize that. I was very, very unhappy after my previous breakup, and I was just sad, but I was also so not myself. I was very overweight. I had the most unhealthy habits. I didn't like do drugs or anything, but I was going out and drinking in college, and I was eating calzones at like 2 in the morning, and I just wasn't really like living a healthy lifestyle at all. And so that didn't give me a lot of confidence, because I didn't like the way I looked on the outside, and I didn't like the way I felt on the inside. So then when you start working on yourself, you really start liking the way you feel on the inside, and you also really start liking the way you look on the outside. At least that was my situation. And so I ended up gaining a lot of confidence, because I was so like proud of how hard I worked on myself and the person that I was starting to become. And that's not to say I'm confident all the time, because there are some days when like I'm feeling insecure or I'm down on myself. But I will say that the days that I am confident in myself outweigh the days that I'm not. Someone always says something that he was extremely attracted to me about myself was how confident I was, and that's just because like I knew who I was as a person, and then and like I was confident in my fitness, I was confident in my eating, and I was confident in like a bunch of things that I was doing with my life. Like, I was traveling, I was working out, I had a solid group of friends, and I was like in a really good place in my life and ready for like a boyfriend at the time. So I was just confident. And also, Colin tells me all the time he hates, and men hate, when girls complain or when girls like downgrade themselves, and I never like did that around Colin. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now. I kind of feel like I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but guys really like confidence. So I just think it's really important to work on yourself, and if you need to take time by yourself to be able to work on yourself, then that's what you need to do. Like, if you're in a relationship where you're really not feeling like yourself, the best thing, in my opinion, you could possibly do, and actually Emma Leger did this. She had been dating the same, Emma Leger is a blogger, if you guys don't know. I'm obsessed with her, but she was dating the same guy for years, and it was to the point where she was with him for so long she didn't know who she was without him. And so now she's like on this journey to like find herself and be super confident in who she is, like alone. And that's what I was super confident in myself alone, and I didn't need anyone else to make me confident. Like, I made myself confident, and I made myself happy. And so that was, I think, something that really helped too, was just like having those years to myself. So yeah, I think that that's the best thing you could possibly do for yourself, is be alone and figure out what it takes to make yourself happy. So when you're with somebody else, you already have yourself covered and you can focus on making them happy while already being super good at making yourself happy. So that's my biggest advice for that. How do you handle mental health in college? I honestly think that it's very hard because you go through different phases of college. You're like loving college, not loving college, ready to get out of there, kind of sad that you're leaving. It's just like a lot of emotions to handle at the same time. You're transitioning from being like a kid to a full-blown adult in a couple years. So I think that you just have to realize you're gonna have ups and downs, and like all those experiences are gonna pave your way and like make you who you are today. So I think honestly the best thing you can do is just keep doing things for yourself. Like keep having me days, keep having me time, and just realize and acknowledge the fact that it's gonna be like an up and down emotional roller coaster, and it's gonna be really hard, and that like it's not anything you can help. It's just a fact of like growing up. It's just something that we all have to go through, and just kind of like leaning on other people, like friends, supportive friends as a matter of fact, and just kind of like other positive influences in your life, and help you just kind of like get through it, because honestly it's just really hard. Like I was the most unhappy ever senior year because I was so ready to like get out of there, you know? What feature would you never want to change about yourself? For instance, your hair. Okay, feature I would never want to change myself is my skin tone. If you guys don't know, I'm half Colombian and half Norwegian, so I'm dark and I'm Hispanic from my dad's side, and I'm so thankful for my skin tone. I really like my skin tone a lot. Next question is wondering if I've ever had experience with relationship anxiety. Maybe a little bit in my previous relationships, and looking back at it, it was because we simply just like weren't meant to be. I also feel very confident in my relationship now because I'm like engaged and getting married, but I feel like everyone kind of has relationship anxiety because literally at any point in time the other person in the relationship can just decide that like they don't want to be in the relationship anymore, and so that's kind of like relationship anxiety in my opinion. And like that's always what I feared, was like being broken up with and stuff, even if like something was going great. But also at the same time, like I said, it's just like experiences that get you to where you're like meant to be. So honestly, like yes, I have, but at the same time it's like you're growing up and you're becoming like a woman, and there's just so many things to have anxiety about. So honestly, if you're having relationship anxiety, it might just not be the right relationship for you. Next question is, when did you know Colin was the one you were going to marry? Did you have doubts? So Colin and I actually almost broke up within like the first couple months of us dating, because Colin has said this before in the podcast, but Colin used to do a lot of he used to like smoke a lot, and I hated that. It's not something like I saw for myself and or like my future relationship partner person. So at first I was kind of trying to play like the cool girl, because I knew he had just come out of a very toxic relationship. Well, his past relationship was super toxic, and the girl he was with was really controlling and like kind of psycho. So I was like trying to be cool girl, like do whatever you want, because I wanted him to like have his own freedom and do what he wanted to do. But then the more we like started dating, and the more I realized I actually really liked his personality and who he was as a person, I told him like, hey, like he used to smoke and like kind of listen to really sad songs, and I think he was just like a little bit down, but also his like some of the people he hung out with like weren't positive influences though to like make him be different. So basically I told him like, hey, this is what I see for myself, and this is like who I want to be with, and the person I want to be with doesn't do these things. And I basically said like, if you're going to continue to do this, I really don't see us going farther into like a relationship, into a serious relationship. And when I said that to him, he was like, I'm quitting. Like he was like, I'm never smoking again, and like that I don't want to do, like he basically, it was him saying like he would rather get rid of that than get rid of me. And so he literally did a 180 lifestyle change, and that is when I knew he was the one I was going to marry, because he chose me over all of the other habits and all of the other things that he used to do, and he was willing to like just drop everything to continue to be with me and to like continue to reach our goals as a couple. And so that's basically when I knew like he was the one, because it was like cold turkey, which was like kind of crazy, but it was cold turkey. He was like, screw this, I'd rather have you, like you're the most important thing and you're the best thing that's ever happened to me, and all that stuff doesn't matter. And there's a couple things too like Colin didn't like that I did, like well, I really had to learn to be in a relationship because I had been single for so long. So it was a hard transition for me to stop worrying about just me and worrying about both of us, because I was so used to worrying about just me. And so there was a couple times when he was like, okay, if you're gonna do that, like, this isn't gonna work out. There was a couple times when we were like, well, this is like really what we want, and we liked the other person so much and we cared about the other person so much, we were willing to like compromise and meet halfway. And it's not necessarily that either of us changed. Like, Colin did have 100% lifestyle change, but honestly it was for the better. So yeah, and I told him too, I wasn't about changing who he was as a person. And so when I said I don't think this is gonna work out, he decided to change. Like, I wasn't saying you need to do this, I was saying I don't think that this is gonna work out for me, and he decided to do that. Like, I was not telling him what he needed to do at all. That was his decision. And that, anyways, long story short, I'm really going on and on about that, but that's how I knew I was gonna marry Colin, because he, and to this day still, will drop anything and everything to help me. He calls me princess all the time. He is literally the best person ever. Very, very thankful for Colin. And I just knew that we were meant to be. Like, we just bonded so well. And like, even when we were talking, still to this day, we like never run out of things to talk about. We're like so close. And I think you just know when you know. When you know, you know. One more question and then I'm gonna end this. The question is talking about deed, sex drive, versus females and males. And I definitely think that males is obviously higher. I think that, I mean, honestly though, like, not every person, like I said, and I just wanted to reiterate this with this question, you just need to have an open line of communication with your partner and be completely comfortable with them talking about it, so you guys are on the same page, so you never build up resentment or anger towards one another because they're not fulfilling your needs and you're not fulfilling theirs. Like, you just need to lay it out on the table and say, okay, this is what I need, what do you need, so you can properly love and comfort them how they want to be, and your relationship is going to be very, very successful if you do that. So obviously, in my opinion, I think guys is higher. I just don't think you should compare yourself to your partner or compare yourself to your best friend or whatever, because everybody's different. So I hope this helped someone in some way, shape, or form. I think that this video ended up being a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. Sorry, I'm a chatty Cathy sometimes, especially when I drink coffee. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys want me to do more videos like this, because I am definitely down to do so. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're not already subscribed and you want to subscribe and stick around, that would mean so much to me. Also, if you stuck around this long, I just want to let you guys know my spring presets went live. They're always linked in the description box below, but it is my spring pack if you guys want to lighten up your feed for Instagram. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So I'm actually gonna go take a picture for Instagram right now, and my sweater is from Petal and Pup, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.